Hello, 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 dreamers. Perla here. As always, thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and let's see what do we have for this collective energy this week. The number one thing that was coming through was the apology of a lifetime. There's somebody here that is coming around to apologize for something that they have been doing for a while towards you. I'm not going to lie, this is seeming more like a romantic relationship. Someone that you had a falling out with that surrounds romantic feelings, romantic relationship. This you could have been with somebody that quote unquote didn't always put you first, somebody that fed you breadcrumbs, somebody that was hot and cold, somebody that ghosted you multiple times, somebody that may have been unfaithful in a relationship, or a third party situation, whether that third party was another person or like an in-law or a job or whatever. The whole point here is that somebody did you wrong for an extended period of time, right? And during that period of time you kept voicing your frustration, your anger, your disappointment, your everything onto the person, right? Telling them like, hey, something's got to give, something's got to change, this isn't working for me. And I felt that you stayed for as long as you possibly could within a certain situation. And the moment that your eyes were wide open and you realize, hey, this is not going to change, this person is not going to change, this is just a loop, this is a cycle that I'm stuck in and I need to get myself out of it. The moment that you realize that, you packed your bags or whatever it was and you exited the situation, you exited the relationship. Now, to this individual, to this person, you walking away was a big shocker. You packing your bags, whether you physically like moved away or whatever it was, or you just go, or the action of closing the door between you and this person, like you went completely no contact, you didn't have a fit, you didn't tell them how you felt towards the end, you were just completely like checked out. And for a lot of you, you were emotionally checked out prior to physically walking out of a situation. And now, and for those of you that this is going to resonate with, you have been you've been checked out, you've been completely done with the situation. I want to say, and keep on hearing the number three, so this would have been like 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, and all of a sudden this person is showing up like either at your doorstep or like calling you up and being like, hey, I need to talk to you. And they're coming in with like the apology of a lifetime. Not only are they naming every single thing that they did wrong, they're owning it, they are holding themselves accountable. Now, this is where the tricky energy is that I really need you to pay attention to during this time. This apology is for you. And what does that mean? Sometimes we need certain things for closure, right? And Spirit knows that. Spirit knows exactly what it is that we need. And sometimes these individuals that have hurt us, that have broken us to a certain extent, right, will have a moment of clarity. And I love those moments. And again, I'm speaking from personal experience and from stories that I've heard from people that I've read or I've connected with, and I'm like, you know what that was, right? So what tends to happen is these people have a moment of clarity where they own up to all the shit that they did, where they apologize, and the apology is sincere in that moment in time. And once you receive that apology, once you accept it and you let it go, right? So you're not re-engaging with that person, you're not going back with that person, etc. And let's say like if you let 24 hours pass by and you go talk to this person is right back to who they were, right back to denial, right back to everything. So when this person comes in with the apology of a lifetime, I need you to understand that this apology is to help you with your closure. For those of you that needed closure from someone, this is not, and I'm going to say it again, this is not to rekindle a situation. Okay? Now, what is an example? Let's say if it's not a significant other that you broke up with, right? This is not romance. All right. I'm going to use one of my own personal experiences. And I say it because I have no shame, right? So my mother and I are both very gifted. She decided to go down a different path. She is religious, and there were things with me growing up that really hurt when it came to religion, when it came to certain things, when it came to denying our gifts, when it came to denying our nature, right? Where our gifts, our nature were always deemed as something demonic, as something bad by the church. And I'm talking about like the church in itself as like the churches that we belong to, right? And that did a lot of damage to me when it came to my identity, when it came to who I was, when it came to expressing myself. And till this day, my mom still holds the belief that this is not something good, that this is something, she prays to deliver me from this. Let's just put it in that way. And there was a couple of years ago where I sat with spirit and I was like, I really need to figure out how this relationship with my mother is going to continue in the aspect as to what it is that I do, because I am not in a position to be defending myself constantly, or to be like, having these arguments or these things. Like, I am who I am, and that is enough, right? And one day out of the blue, we're having a conversation and she starts talking about like things that are not church related. She starts talking about the Anunnakis and this and that, and different celestial beings and different things. And in that space of this conversation that we're having, I know that it's spirit speaking through my mom, but it also brought me that closure that I needed, right? And she apologized and she said that, she apologized for a lot of things when it comes again to my spirituality and things that she had said before. And I sat there, I remember, and I was sitting there and I was in awe, and I was like, whoa, like, is she finally like waking up to the truth? And Spirit was like, no, this was you needed this, baby. Like, that 8-year-old you, that 7-year-old you, whatever it was, needed this closure between you and her in this matter. And then I went and I spoke to her, I want to say like the next day. I called her, hey mom, how you doing, this and that. And it was right back to the prior, right? Oh, I'm praying for you and this and this and that. And since then, our dynamic of a relationship around what it is that I do has changed, right? She no longer is constantly telling me that she's praying for me. She's no longer anything like, there has been a clear boundary that I've set, that I do not allow myself to cross, that I do not allow myself to cross my own boundaries. So therefore, she knows that there's a line that is not to be crossed, and she respects it, right? Whether she likes it or not, she respects it, because it is, in order for us to have a relationship, in order for us to have a connection, that's the way that it has to be. So for those of you that is not in romance, and it's like with a family member, again, you're getting some type of apology with a moment of clarity that that person is having. But this person is they're reverting back to factory setting, is what I'm hearing, once the apology is said. And again, it's for you to have that last moment of closure that a lot of you were seeking for, or were needing, for whatever the reason, right? And it may have been something that maybe you are aware of, or something that you are unaware of, but regardless of anything it is coming, just know that this quick shift, or this quick moment of clarity that this person is having, is not permanent. It is not long lasting, right? Does that mean that maybe in the future they'll wake up? Hey, anything is possible, right? But again, I'm not looking into that energy, right? I'm looking into the energy of the now, right? The present moment, the energy that it is surrounding them. So for those of you that this is what is happening, and yes, I do believe that in that same space, when they're having that moment of clarity that helps you with closure, that helps you move on from something, they're also gaining something as well, right? They're gaining a little insight into their true self. They're even if they run away from it, because that's what I pretty much feel like, somebody is afraid to go into these spaces, because these spaces are uncomfortable. The spaces when we have to be accountable for our actions, the spaces where we have to honor ourselves by accepting the roles that we've played in other people's life, can be uncomfortable. And that's okay, right? This person is just not ready to fully make the shift, but that quick moment and shift is going to bring you that closure that you needed. So this is definitely an apology of a lifetime. I really do love this energy. So let's go ahead and let's see for for you guys, we have as a closing message, I couldn't even shuffle, Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded, okay? So it is very, very, very important for you to stay grounded as this is unfolding. Do not fall into the trap of thinking that you have to re-engage with somebody, or you have to reconnect with somebody. So what do I mean by that? If you have been non-contact with a family member, whether it's a mother or father, for whatever the reason, and this person calls you out of the blue and apologize, you don't have to reconnect with them, right? My example with my mother, I have never been, well, I shouldn't say I've never been non-contact. Yeah, I should say, because I've never really been non-contact with my mother in that sense, like where we've gone like months or years without talking. My mother has always been a part of my life, because I know that there's also things there that again are connected to my this is a lineage thing. This goes back a few generations. And there was a shift that happened between my grandmother and my mother, where certain things happened that led to the shift of like not deeming our gifts as something good, right? So I personally have chosen to still be in contact with my mother, but there is there are boundaries that I've set, and there's also how can I word it, there are also conditions and things like that that I would not like. There's also conditions that are not tolerated, if that makes any sense, right? And as long as we're all able to express ourselves without crossing those lines, like the balance has been found, right? So if your situation deems no contact prior to this apology, then the non-contact is where you continue, right? So like, let's say like I am divorced, so this has happened in the past again with my ex-husband, and we have never really gone non-contact. We have 4 kids, so well, 6 if you count the dogs, right? So again, I've always had to stay grounded and rooted when those moments of clarity happen for him, so that I don't reconnect in that sense, right? I allow the space of the connection between us to stay the same as it was prior to the apology, right? It is just a part of it, a part of that space that had the closure that it needed. And I hope that that makes sense. If the message is for you, it is going to resonate. If it's not, maybe come back at a later time, all right? Well, that is all that I have. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.